And it starts with some headlines, including right off the top of the bat, obviously something you want to talk about because we've been talking about this, and that's Jackson Holiday. He made his debut, and that guy sucks. 0 for 4 in his debut. Dude struck out in his first at bat. He's not ready. Send him down.
Yeah, it was embarrassing, Jackson. Come on. No, someone asked me in the YouTube comments how much they should spend on Fab on a guy like Jackson Holiday if he's still available, which in most leagues he's probably not. But
He's not, yeah.
if you do still have him out there, I would say up to maybe like a quarter of your Fab budget left. I probably wouldn't be willing to go much higher than that unless it's a very deep league, maybe 15, 16 team league. But then again, at that point, he's probably already gone. So, you know, don't spend half your Fab. You're going to need it. Injuries happen. We just never know. He's still young, right? Obviously, he's performed at every level, but this is the major leagues. Could be different. I just wouldn't go out and do it. But, he could prove me wrong and be one of the best second basemen. So if he's available, awesome. But 95 to 99% of leagues, he's probably not. So, but big things to come for him either way.
Yeah, and I think, like, at the same time, he could be really awesome, but he's one guy.
Yep.
Like, he might, he could be everything he's hyped up to be. He'll still probably go through a stretch where he bats 167 for 3 weeks. You know what I mean? Like, that's just Major League Baseball. And so, when you talk about unloading everything you have in the holster, right, for one guy, I don't care who that guy is, unless it's Ronald Acuna or maybe Mookie Betts this year. There isn't a guy that I would say go spend your entire fab on, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Even when you get close to target half your Fab, like you're just going to have holes later in the season that you have to fill. So, uh, I wouldn't. Some people will, and that's just the nature of it. You're probably going to lose on sometimes if you just go for a quarter. But I'm not. I'm not putting any more than that. So, but I'm excited to watch him. I tuned in to watch all of his at bats, and he didn't look overpowered. Obviously, Cutter Crawford looked really good in the first couple innings. So, but yeah, no, he's fun to watch. He's very excited. He looks like he's 10. So
He does look really young. Although it looks like he's gotten older. Like, he does look like his facial structure, like, not so much the features, but his facial structure looks like it matured over the last couple of years. When he first got drafted, it was like, oh my God, this is a child. But now it's a little bit better than that. So it's
yeah,
a little bit more bearable for someone like me, even though I look at the screen and see he's born 2004 or whatever it was, which is ridiculous. Like, this guy like doesn't remember the Red Sox World Series run in '04. He wasn't alive for the Yankees dynasty. Like, that's nuts. That's how long it's been since the Yankees were good. But whatever. Yeah, still crazy. Some more just unfortunate news. Kodai Senga was moved to the 60-day IL. So for anyone who thought he was coming back early May, which is what I thought, really, now the earliest he can come back, I think, is May 27th is the earliest he's eligible. So, when they did this with Garrett Cole a couple weeks ago, it was really just like a clerical thing. Like, hey, we knew he wasn't coming back anyway. Here, I feel like it kind of felt like this guy was going to come back sooner. Now, does that mean, and I don't know if you have this in your prospect report, but there's that kid who's been pitching well for the Mets down in the minors. I don't know if they end up calling him up, and don't mind me, his name's escaping me right now. He had 10 strikeouts the other night.
Christian Scott
So
maybe would be my guess.
yes,
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
Scott. So,
Hmm.
does that mean that's going to happen? What happens if you're a Senga owner? How do you look at him if maybe you're trying to trade for him? Things change obviously, but overall, it just kind of sucks because he's one of the league's best pitchers, and I didn't read anything about a setback. But also they didn't talk to the media yesterday because their game against Atlanta was delayed. So it was kind of just like they put it out there that it happened, like it was a transactional move, and we haven't really heard what happened. So I assume we'll get more information today from the Mets, but just not great.
Yeah, if you drafted Senga, I assume you're probably holding. Um, if you're trying to trade for him, don't give up a whole lot. Maybe somebody on your bench or something like that. Because even when he comes back, when he comes back in June, let's say, what does he look like? Does he take some time to really ramp up? We just don't know. But yeah, Christian Scott is a guy who should benefit from this. I'm very surprised they haven't brought him up already. I thought they were going to do that, but no, they signed Julio Teheran instead. Like, I didn't get that move. Christian Scott's
Well, he's done. They
ready.
DFA'd him.
Right.
So
I
yeah,
know. After one ugly start, like I didn't even know why you needed to do
amazing
that.
they came
Like,
back
just
and won that game.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Christian Scott, yeah, if he's still available, he should be rostered pretty much everywhere, even in 12s. He's got big fantasy stuff. So yeah, he's going to be a guy who hopefully benefits from this. Because there are going to be guys who benefit from this, unfortunately.
Another big injury news, and this is another guy, Framber Valdez, also dealing with elbow inflammation. Now, I don't know exactly. I didn't see if there was an IL stint, but again, elbow discomfort for another one of these starting pitchers who's a top starting pitcher in the league. And it seems like it's every day there's someone new, and not just anyone, but guys who are big name pitchers, guys who are top of the rotation guys. Again, we did a lot on this on Sunday, so I don't want to spend too much time on it, but the trend continues, and it's gotten to the point where if you have a top starting pitcher, are you looking to unload some of your top starting pitchers and maybe like, hey, I don't know, get a ton of value back because this guy might be a ticking time bomb?
Um, that's an interesting question. Framber did hit the 15-day IL. He'll be shut down for a few days just
Yep.
as, and then be reevaluated. But no, no, because you still like if you have a healthy roster right now, which I do in a couple leagues, like a healthy pitching roster. Not all of them. Most of my leagues are decimated, but having a healthy pitching roster right now, you have like such a leg up that even if their guys go, if you want to trade an arm or two to try to get some value offensively, if you have a hole offensively, like a major hole, I could see that being the case. But if your offense is solid enough, I would take that leg up and I would just run with it. I would hold on to my pitchers. And if somebody wants to pay me for an arm, they're going to have to overpay because, like you said, that's just the nature of arms right now. And yeah, so I'm going to take because you still have half your categories are pitching categories. Like you still
Yep.
have to win those categories. So no, I'm not really moving on from any of my healthy arms unless like there's a deal that's too good to pass up. Like I'm trying to think of an example. Like I have Corbin Burns in a league, right? Like if the draft happens tomorrow, Corbin Burns is the number one pitcher, right? Like
Oh, for
far and
sure.
away, right? So I'm not moving on from him unless I'm getting like a top 10 guy. So yeah, I wouldn't move on from your pitchers just because you can maybe get some good value. It'd have to be like phenomenal value.
Right, and like it's easy to win some of those categories now, easier. If you just have one of those guys, and then again, if one of those guys, if your guy goes down, I mean, it's kind of what everyone's been dealing with. So you're not special.
Mhm.
Speaking of the top pitchers, uh, Zach Wheeler. I don't know if you saw this stat. I saw a fun stat. He has a 1.89 ERA through his first three starts. In those three starts, the Phillies have scored a total of 3 runs and the team is 0-3 in those starts.
No,
We
no, I haven't seen
commonly
that.
in New York we call this the DeGrom. That is what it's commonly referred to.
Sure.
Uh, Not great, not great. If you're looking at a guy, former DeGrom teammate. By the way, I'm wearing the Tiger sweatshirt,
Yeah, I love that.
and the first round of the Masters is actually just delayed because of storms. So I don't know why it feels like that happens a lot, but we start these things, and I don't know. You're in Chicago. It's nasty weather here today, New York.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. Not looking great, but yeah, I don't know why we start these things like the same with opening day. We just start things in April when we know it rains every other freaking day. So that's that. But the Degrom stuff I thought was hilarious. Just crazy numbers.
Yeah, it reminds me almost like I haven't looked on it recently, but Mike Trout, right? I think he had what was it? How many home runs has he had that are solo home runs this year? So he has 6 home
It
runs
was
and
his
8
first four
RBIs.
home runs. I was going to bring this up. It
Yep.
was his first
Mhm.
4 home runs of the year were all solo shots. So he had 4 RBIs and 4 home runs.
That's kinda how
So
it
not
feels with that, right?
Yeah, his fifth home run gave him his fifth and sixth RBIs, or maybe he had his sixth RBI
Yeah,
already at
no.
that point. But
So, yeah, 2
yeah,
2 home
but
runs.
the first the first 4 home runs, those were also his first 4 RBIs, which is just they're not pitching to him when anyone's on base, and when no one's on base, he's hitting a home run every day. He's ridiculous. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I thought that was pretty fun. That's what it reminded me of, like an offensive version of that almost, like, just no help.
yeah. I was at the Yankee game, by the way,
Mhm.
on I guess it was Tuesday night. So that was fun. I got to see Carlos Rodon shove. He's been awesome.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. He's been really good to start the season. And the other thing is Giancarlo Stanton is hot. And I don't even think he ever went through a stretch where he played this well, specifically turning on fastballs the way he is right now. But that was just cool to see. I don't know if, I don't think, in my opinion, it changes anything the way I feel about Giancarlo Stanton, but seeing him, again, I always loved him. It doesn't change how I feel. When I say that, I mean purely from a fantasy perspective. I wouldn't be going out and trying to get him right now in a
Yeah.
trade because he's always feels like he's one bad swing, one bad step away from an injury. Uh, but he looks better than he did at any point last year.
Yeah, I mean, I know we're not in the buy low, sell high section right now, but he feels like a sell high if you can sell high on him. Um, is he your first who's hot guy? Is that where you're going, or you just want to bring him up because you love
I
your
just wanted to
receivers?
bring him up. One of my not who's hot guys, but he would be on this list. I didn't put him on. He is hot though, and this is the last thing is Teoscar Hernandez. I kind of want to take a victory lap on that
Sure.
because it sucks that I don't have him in any leagues because I was so high on him coming into the year. I
Mhm.
talked about it so many times on this podcast how high I am on him. And then it just didn't work out for me to pick him up. I'm in 2 leagues. The best ball, obviously, you got him in that draft. It sucks. I'm kind of annoyed about it. But Teoscar Hernandez at the same time, like as much as it sucks that I didn't get him, I do want to talk about how awesome he's been because he's batting cleanup in that lineup now with the Dodgers, and he's one of the best in the league. I think he's top in RBIs, maybe second in the league in RBIs right now. The
Yeah,
dude is
he's,
just
mhm.
crushing it.
He's currently the number one right fielder in fantasy. Yeah, I mean, hitting 300, 15 RBIs, 24 strikeouts. Not crazy about that. That's almost almost a 50%. You're talking 40% rate. You don't like that, but when it comes with a 916 OPS, you're probably going to take that. So yeah,
Yeah, you'll
Teoscar looks
take
great.
it. And speaking of right fielders, just last quick thing. I think like we both had plant your flag guys. Kind of yours was Trevor Story. We should have done a bet because we had two very injury prone plant your flag guys. Mine was Starling Marte. Yours was Trevor
See,
Story.
you're gonna have to
Stories.
pull up the receipts on this one
I
because
will pull up the
okay,
receipts on this one. Story's out for the year, and Marte's still hurt, still playing. So I feel like I win automatically the
yeah,
Marte conversation just by that. So that's the last thing. All right, you want to get to the if you want. I mean,
no,
not
I
much to
mean,
say about that, but
yeah, Marte's on a
uh,
4 game hit streak. I'm gonna give credit where credit's due. He's on a 4 game hit streak, so he's hitting 256. He's doing fine. He's doing okay right now.
all right.